Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Somewhere our time zones match up, and somewhere it is 5 o'clock, so have a drink on me. Um, I am more or less very disappointed when I talk about this game against Virginia. The wasted potential loss of game day, um, 46-38, two overtimes. You kind of expect that when a team come out and say, hey, when we beat you guys, when y'all were the number 2 ranked team in the country, Danny Cannell as the quarterback, we're going to wear those throwback uniform. Basically, we're putting it in your face that they're very confident they can win, and that's a great job. I mean, when you're at a school like Virginia and Georgia Tech or Wake Forest, you have to do whatever you can to be able to compete with this opportunity. The NIL and the transfer portal really hasn't helped, I guess, how people thought this thing would do. Obviously, NIL is not even used for his purpose. His purpose was name, image, and likeness. His purpose wasn't to buy players or have collectives. The purpose was for if a football player, basketball player, track and field, whatever, wanted to get paid for their autograph. If a local car dealership wanted to use them to do advertising for them, do endorsements, they could. And it turned into now collectives and a lot of players being bought, but it still has widened the gap. And it's still the have and have nots of anything. Conference realignment and NIL and transfer portal has now led to just total chaos. And in the midst of that chaos, you look at some teams like Georgia Tech, who's doing well, Virginia, who's now 4-1. The coaching staff has obviously done a good job. Mike Norvell and this team coming in after going 3-0 and looking good, had a letdown. Now, in my opinion, I think they were kind of overlooking Virginia and looking towards Miami. I think that they came in and thought Virginia was going to lay down. Home game Friday night, no, it did not happen. And when you look at Castanelos, he outpassed Virginia's quarterback, 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. It's tough to win when you make turnovers. He was the leading rusher with 78 yards. Deuce Robinson, whose dad had the 4th and 14 catch before Chris Ricks hit PK Sam in the end zone to give Coach Bowden his last 10 win in a regular season, 10 wins in a season. His dad, Dominique Robinson. So Deuce Robinson is living up to all the hype, playing like his dad played. Don't understand why he didn't produce at USC. Maybe it wasn't his fault. Maybe it was the coaching staff, the coaches, and how he was being developed. But anyway, he had a monster game again, and he went over 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 9 receptions. You need that. Earl Little had 4 solo tackles and 13 total tackles. But in the end, the result is still the same, a loss. The motivation should have been there. You don't need, coming off a 2-10 season, you shouldn't have to be motivated to want to do better. You understand trap games. You understand the trap. You understand the greater prize next week playing somebody worth playing. A lot of times on the schedule, and I know it happens at every big power school, every power conference. Yeah, you got a conference opponent, but you overlook them. Just like in life, you make fun of somebody, and one day they come up and punch you right in the mouth, and there's nothing you can say. They get tired of it. These schools are still trying to put their program where they want to be, and they're playing against somebody trying to do it, and it works out like that. So it's not going to be go your way all the time. That's a part of the adversity. That's a part of the overcoming obstacles, as coach talk about. You hear it all the time. People always just coach speak. You have to dial in. It's a 1-week season. You have to lock in on this opponent at this time, in this moment, do the things you need to do. And you knew you was going to be in a tight game. You knew you were going to be facing a team that would be ready to play. You knew what you had, and you just didn't get it done. And again, like I say, things like this happen. And it's not the end of the world. Life does go on. So as I look at the numbers, and I'm going to get with you guys in a minute, again, total offense, Florida State 514, Too many yards by Virginia, 440. That's too much for a Seminole defense. Turnovers even at 3 apiece. We definitely got to work out on that. They gained more first downs than us, 27-24. They had 4 penalties for 29 yards. We had 5 penalties for 49 yards. They were 7-13 on third down. We were 6-15. So you have to work on that, improve your execution, your play calling, and maybe the effort. Fourth downs, they were 2 for 2. We were 3 for 5, and they dominated in time possession with 31 minutes and 57 seconds compared to 28 minutes and 3 seconds. So in all, defensively, the offense, you think Florida State scores 38 points in the game, they're gonna win, but defensively, gut punch after gut punch the defense took. Not being able to get off the field. You didn't give up 100 yards, but damn, 27 carries for 99 yards, 3.7 yard average and 1 touchdown. They did a good job. They took it to you. They basically followed the blueprint you had against Alabama. They were hungry. They wanted it. They were at home, fed off the crowd, kept them in the ball game. Again, this ball game is probably much different if it's at Doak Campbell, because sometimes the motivation, the home factor, the fan, the belief in your town, your city, and community can go a long way. And like I say, it looks to me like they did a good job of literally coming out, following what you guys did against Alabama and taking that and turning that around and then just capitalize on it. Kept the game close, kept believing, went to overtime, 2 overtimes, and they got it done and we didn't. When I heard this, it was like a gut punch. It was hurtful because of where we're trying to go. And we let everybody down last year. They let everybody down last year. And you got a team that's hungry. You got new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new assistants, not a new faces. And then Coach Storm did a hell of a job getting this team ready mentally, physically, and emotionally. Strength conditioning coach to go out here and lay an egg on national TV, the biggest game on Friday night. And you just look like a team that didn't want to be there, going through the motions. But this is a learning lesson. Again, a lot of these players are, I would probably say, are not even used to the 10-2, the 10-3 season we had a couple of years ago. And then a lot of these players probably weren't on the roster when they went 13-1. So you have to build that culture and you have to reset, restart, lock in and focus. But it's just disappointing to lose to a school like Virginia that isn't going anywhere. They're fighting for scraps. But I tip my hat to the coaches and the players and the coaching staff for playing this game, believing they can win, believing they can keep it close, fight, having magic, anything can happen, and getting it done and executing at a high level and being unranked and beating a ranked Florida State team with a lot of hype, a lot of buzz, a lot of talk. So, and then it's a loss. Like I say, you guys chime in the comments or let me know what you thought or how you felt. But it was just a bad feeling. Like this probably affected me for 2 or 3 days just because it's Virginia. It's one thing you lose to Florida, Miami, or, we played Oklahoma and we lost. But when you lose to teams like this, it's just even more deflating because you're Florida State. And I know that ain't enough, but at the end of the day, it's Florida State. You either do it or you don't. You have to execute. So, like I say, hopefully things get better, you guys. I'll check back in with you later. Y'all be good, be great. Go Noles.